My name is Daniel Duggan, known to my friends as Doc Duggan. Why Doc? Details will follow. Here is my deep story. I was born April 24, 1898 on my family's farm in Blount County, Tennessee, the 10th of 13 brothers and sisters. People had big families in those days. My father was Joseph Wilson Duggan, a school teacher and farmer. For 7 years, from 1887 until 1894, he was superintendent of Blount County Schools. His brother was superintendent of Knox County Schools. My father's 2 other brothers were both school teachers. As you can see, education was very important in the Duggan family. Several of my own brothers and sisters became school teachers. One of them, Clay, was a business professor at New York University and later, at Georgia Tech. What about my mother? Her name was Fanny Smith. Perhaps you have seen the film, The Sound of Music, where young Maria comes to care for the 7 children of a widower. Well, my mother, who had been raised on a farm in West Blount County, helped to care for the 6 children of my father's first marriage after he was widowed. They married in 1891. In 1919, not quite 21 years of age, I was off to see the world. I joined the Navy. For the first 15 months I was in Great Lakes, Illinois, just outside Chicago. I completed basic training. After that, I trained in mechanical matters, but the Navy saw mechanics was not where my best talents were found, and so I trained as a medic. As a medic, I had the highest marks in conduct and exams. A comment on my military record says, "A very good man for the hospital corps." After medic training, a great adventure began. In December 1920, I was assigned to the Ship Plane Division. This involved pioneering early naval aviation with ships that could dock with planes. I traveled to New York, then it was, all aboard, when I sailed on the USS Pennsylvania, along with a fleet of 8 battleships. I left this parade at my new posting, the Naval Air Station at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. I was in Cuba for 18 months. Eventually, I qualified as a first-class medic and was a petty officer on a ship stationed at Guantanamo Bay. So, why Doc? It is a term of honor in the Navy, given to the medic in sick bay on a ship. In the summer of 1921, after a brief stint at Hampton Roads, Virginia, I was ready for home. I needed to complete my education. The Navy allowed me to leave a few weeks before completing my 3-year term. I became a 10th grader back in Maryville, Tennessee, at the age of 24. Better late than never. At any rate though, most people in that day did not go beyond 8th grade, education was important to the Duggans. Back in Maryville, I met a very special fellow 10th grader. She was 16-year-old Mildred Phillips. So intelligent, so lovely, so steadying for me. She became my sweetheart. Mill always said, I know he was the right one. We couldn't wait too long to get married. Well, at least, I didn't want to wait. After completing 11th grade, we married in 1923. Soon, our family began. Dawn was born in 1925, Margie in 1927, Betty Jo in 1930 and Kenneth in 1933. I had a precious family to love and support. How could I take care of them? We are coming to that, but right now, I want to mention music. When I was a child, singings were held in my home. I learned to play the guitar and I sang. In the 1920s, I joined the Eusebia Singers. You can see a news article about them here. Music meant a lot to me, but family comes before all. The Great Depression began in October, 1929. There were few jobs, and many were hungry. I was determined we would make it. What did I do? First, I bought some men's clothes, and put them in the trunk of my car. Then I drove to a hotel where a few people who could still buy clothes stayed. I first sold men's clothing from the trunk of my car. Later, I had a display window, then an area for sales. Success continued, I had a knack for selling. Why? Perhaps because I enjoyed people so much and was interested in them. In the 1930s, I opened Duggan's men's store. It was eventually in its own building. I supported my family, who were never in want, and who had all they needed and more. The store continued during my life, and during my children's lives. It was a Maryville, Tennessee landmark. Time rolled on. In 1933, our little daughter, Betty Jo, died in a tragic car accident. In the 1940s, both of my sons became Marines and my daughter Margie joined the Army Nurse Corps. I was so proud of my wife Mill, who was head of the Women's Missionary Society at the Baptist Church. Gospel music was still important to me. I organized many gospel music programs in the 1950s. People came from all around to hear the gospel quartets and groups. I was a grandfather of 7 when God called me home in 1968. A lifetime full of memories. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Goodbye.